Hey guys, I'm back with another video already. I guess I should have just waited a day to film all of it together, but I didn't realize the Fall 2 stuff was dropping today, but it has. So I actually had two candles that I was saving for exchanges, and that was the unscented autumn evening as well as the unscented football season. And then when I went into the store, she was all like, oh my god, football season, we're just saying how this one just completely sold out. And I'm like, girl, who is buying this unscented candle? But I guess people like that fragrance at least on cold. But in any case, both of those candles I did do like a YouTube Shorts review on those. They were both totally unscented, so they went back to the store, and so I went back to exchange it for the candles that I couldn't find yesterday. And then I had two rewards to redeem on some new body care, and so we'll get right into it. Okay, cool. First candle we have is Honeycrisp Hayride, and that's what that looks like right here. A very pretty wraparound scenery landscape label, and then some metallic accents on the frame, as you can see right there. They all have this kind of green matte lid to it. $26.95, Beauty Fall Weekend full of Honeycrisp apples and crisp autumn leaves. It has white wax and the thick rope-like wicks. And yeah. Okay, so this was out in Wallflower, but it's kind of hard to get a read on the Wallflowers now because they don't have tester candles, and it's just like the little wick. And then I feel like sometimes they will mix and match the caps, or they might use old caps from before. I don't really know, but sometimes I will smell a Wallflower and it smells like totally different because I'm smelling the cap on it. And so I wonder if like they're reusing older tester caps from before and putting it on there. I don't quite know, but in any case, so it's much harder to get a read on the Wallflowers now. And so every time I smell Honeycrisp Hayride, it just smelled like a generic apple fragrance, and I wasn't really getting much past that. It was just that usual sort of moldy red apple fragrance, and I was like, ooh girl, I so don't need that. So I wasn't really anticipating this one too much, but then when I smelled the hand soap yesterday, I was like, I feel like I'm getting kind of like a fig moment to it. So I was like, okay, let me see how the candle does, and then I'll get like my final read on the fragrance. And so I used the hand soap again in the store today, and then also smelled the candle, and they both do smell the same. So in any case, at least the soap and the candles seem to be the matching with the same fragrance. So maybe that Wallflower tester just had a whack lid on it. I don't quite know. But in any case, what does Honeycrisp Hayride smell like? It is a new fragrance. So we have Honeycrisp Apple already, right? And we also have Pumpkin Apple, and we also have Afternoon Apple Picking. So like there's certainly no shortage of apple fragrances out there. But this one, it just says that it's a Honeycrisp Apple and Crisp Autumn Leaves. And yes, I am getting a strong fig presence in this. And when I smelled it, I was like, this kind of reminds me of Autumn Day, but they took Autumn Day and just added more apple in it. And I feel like that is what's going on here. And Autumn Day was originally a fragrance called Acorn and Fig, and so it kind of had like that sort of rustic plus fig type of fragrance in there. But I feel like once again, they just made that a little bit sweeter and juicier with the addition of the Honeycrisp Apple. And so yeah, I feel like this kind of smells like Autumn Day plus Fig. Wait, sorry, Autumn Day plus Apple. Yeah. But yeah, I feel like it is nicer in the candle than I guess whatever limited smell I was getting in the Wallflower, because the fig does come through. Fig is quite like a popular note, or it's kind of like up and coming. And so it's probably a way for them to introduce a fig fragrance without directly calling it out, maybe because they just haven't had much success when they called out a fig note in the past. I don't quite know, although Guilty as Fig was pretty popular, right? But in any case, I feel like that's what I'm getting in here. And so Crisp Autumn Leaves is very vague, and then of course Beauty Fall Weekend is also very vague as well. But they also mentioned that it's a hayride fragrance, so I think there is supposed to be some kind of extra like rustic quality to this. And yes, I feel like I even get like kind of like a nutty smell to this. I don't know. It does smell like Acorn and Fig / Autumn Day with an extra apple presence, and that's what I get from it. So I don't know. I like it. At least it's probably not something I would hoard or like, you know, buy multiples of. But I'm glad that there's like I guess it's new. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Moving on. Let's see. Anything else that I missed? Harvest Gathering again, yeah, leaves, all the rest of that was boring. That other collection indeed did have Sunrise Woods and mahogany vanilla in it. All repackages, don't need to talk about that. Blueberry maple pancakes was in the store, as well as autumn chai in like the bakery collection. Autumn, however, was not in its collection at the store that I went to today, so that was not present yet. But then that leaves us with the only other candle that I was looking for, and that was cinnamon and pinecone right here. Very handsome packaging, as you can see right there. And yeah. Cool. $26.95, fresh pine, cinnamon bark, cedar, and juniper. Coral wicks, white wax. And yeah, wow, I mean, you are definitely presented with crap load of like a cinnamon bark cinnamon fragrance. The same kind of cinnamon you would get in cinnamon clove buds or holiday or spice. But yeah, it smells like cinnamon pinecone always has. It seems like a very distinctly holiday or Christmas fragrance. Now that I smell this in comparison to like maybe other cinnamon standalone fragrances, there is a Christmas greenery pine note chilling in the background, but because the cinnamon is so strong and sharp and spicy, that really hits you first. But when you do dissect it, yeah, I guess you are getting juniper, cedar, and pine. There is a holiday greenery note in here. And yeah, it's just full-blown Christmas. So it's kind of weird to be smelling it now, and it's so incredibly hot out that it's kind of seasonally inappropriate, but it does smell how like cinnamon pinecone has. Once again, I believe it was repackaged as spiced autumn wreath. There was also a spiced wreath single wick candle that was in red wax, and then evening hearth are the other like adjacent fragrances to this. If you want something very rustic and cinnamony and very holiday Christmas, then check this out. But it's still a nice fragrance nonetheless. It's very like nostalgic, quintessential like Yuletide holiday moment. Very reminiscent of like maybe what you would have got from Christmas back in like the Slacken & Co days. Very, very traditional holiday. Yeah, so that's cinnamon pinecone right there. Way too hot to be burning this right now, but once again, I could see this being very cozy and fun once cooler weather kicks in. Okay, cool. I think that finally exhausts all the candles to be talking about. Things to note, blueberry maple pancakes finally had thick rope-like wicks instead of the flat curling ones. And so the flat curling ones would always, I would get like a problematic burn on it. It just had less of a controlled flame. So like at the beginning it would still like crazy, but then at the mid-range point it would curl in and nub out and then get like dud out. And so that wasn't great. So I'm kind of looking forward to trying out blueberry maple pancakes once the candles go back on sale, and the new one with the thick rope-like wicks to hopefully get more of a controlled burn all the way down, rather than having to deal with the sooty hot mess at the beginning and then the curling dudding action in the mid-range. So there was that. Autumn chai had thick rope-like wicks and like a gray wax. And then I think that's pretty much all to report on. Okay, online they had dropped some Everyday Luxury single wick candles, which I have actually grabbed from when they were testing in Nashville. And so I have the Midnight Addiction one right here, which I believe is online, along with Covered in Roses. And then the other three, which are like the Inner Angel, Free as a Flower, and the Mediterranean Mirage. And I think those are the ones that seem to be like an online exclusive Everyday Luxuries single wick. And so just want to touch on that. I have burned Covered in Roses a few times, as you can see right there. It smells great. It smells just like the body care does. This is this juicy, awesome, sugary, floral rose fragrance, and I love it, but it is a single wick, so I'm here to just basically report that it throws as most single wicks do, which is very minimally. I can smell like maybe like a 2 in a bedroom / bathroom area. You would be better off melting or lamping this if you're looking for total fragrance payoff. So that was that. And I think Midnight Addiction, yeah, I have burned this one too, as you can see right there. I made a mushroom top on it. Similar thing, I don't remember this being, I actually thought because this fragrance seemed so strong and intense on cold that it would perform better when it was burning, but that was not the case. It was pretty much in the same range as all the other single wicks. So there was that, but they do smell like the body care counterparts. So yeah. Okay, and then we have Body Care Reward Redemption. Newness came out. Mediterranean Mirage was kind of like a unisex fragrance. I didn't really care about it. And then there was Free as a Flower, which had orange flower and like lavender in it. And normally I would kind of be into that kind of floral moment, but the orange flower in many ways how like neroli or orange blossom can kind of go metallic, combined with the very sharp astringent lavender. Overall, it was just very metallic, and so I didn't love it. I was looking for something a little bit more powdery and soft, but it was very like strongly metallic floral, and so I was like, I don't know, I don't think I really need that. And then that leaves us with Inner Angel, which I think this is supposed to be Killian's Angel's Share or something like that. Once again, I don't use fine fragrance or personal fragrance, so I'm so not the go-to for that, but that's the word on the street. So Inner Angel right here. This is like, what did it say? Spiced apple, cognac, tonka bean, and warm praline, and I think the dupe fragrance, the original fragrance, has very similar notes to that. Yeah, it's like a warm, cozy, like a perfumey apple fragrance. It's very warm and deep and more on the dark side for sure. Was this the one that had the cognac in it or whatever? Yes, spiced apple cognac. Yeah, that. Yeah, it's a gourmand leaning perfume, but because of course this is a like everyday luxury fine fragrance dupe fragrance, it's not going to be like a pumpkin pecan waffles gourmand. It's still a perfumey gourmand. Yeah, think of like a warm, deep apple that has a depth and robustness from like an implied booziness from the cognac, and then it's rounded out by a sort of vanilla, but there's definitely kind of like a perfumey, inedible quality in there for sure. But yeah, seems sort of warm and cozy for the like fall time. So Inner Angel right there. And then lastly, there was Autumn Drive, Sunrise Woods, and then Whipped Honey and Vanilla is the new one in this collection. Wow, has this fragrance like really blown up in popularity? Can you guys believe it? Honey Drizzle, Blossoming Neroli, and Whipped Vanilla Bean. I mean, the trajectory of this going from candle to body care was quite quick. And I feel like Whipped Honey and Vanilla gets repackaged a lot now, right? It's in the Neutrals collection now, and it's in this new packaging as well for this floor set. And I still stand by the fact that if it's not an exact repackage, it's so immensely close to the original Vanilla Coconut Surf, which came out like as a post-Candle Day replenishment collection, and I freaking love that fragrance. Oh my god, it was awesome. And then they repackaged it as Vanilla Coconut in that like weird teal iridescent packaging at the beginning of this year. And then Whipped Honey and Vanilla was out last year for fall, and then it's out this year for fall again. So Whipped Honey and Vanilla is definitely making its round. So the amount of repackaging it's gone through would indicate that it is quite popular. And also interesting if you are someone who stands by the fact that it's related to Vanilla Coconut Surf or Vanilla Coconut. Crazy how like marketing really influences the popularity of it, you know, because it went from Vanilla Coconut Surf to Vanilla Coconut, and then Whipped Honey and Vanilla, and so it's like, even though those fragrances seem like they would be totally separate, it's like, let us figure out what is the best way to market this fragrance and give it the best opportunity or chance for it to succeed. And it seems like Whipped Honey and Vanilla is the one they've landed on in terms of it being the most like popular and successful, since it is the one that has been repackaged the most and also got body care. So it's just like truly the power of like marketing and naming is just so immensely strong. And so yes, I look forward to using this because I did love Vanilla Coconut Surf, and then when I burned Whipped Honey and Vanilla, while I still enjoyed the fragrance, it was just kind of like a womp womp moment because it's like I already had Vanilla Coconut Surf, so it's not really truly new. But yes, so the body care, yeah, I feel like this doesn't quite capture all the sort of floralcy underneath that you get in the candle, and it's way heavier on like the sweet, creamy, sort of vanilla marshmallowy honey moment. So I'll have to use this because at least in the shower gel, I guess I should have sprayed it in the store to see what the mist would give in terms of the layers and dry down. But at least cold on this, yeah, it is close enough to the candle fragrance, but it's so much heavier on the vanilla honey sweetness, and I'm not getting so much of the blossoming neroli or that sort of beautiful floralcy that was underneath it that made it more inedible but more elevated as well. I'll have to use this one just to see how it stacks up. But I mean, once again, I did really enjoy Vanilla Coconut Surf, and I gushed about it when it first came out, so that means I would still enjoy Whipped Honey and Vanilla as well. So I'm kind of excited to see it in body care. Cool. Okay, I think that's it. More information for Disney Villains has surfaced in terms of there being a online app member early access date, and then it goes into stores after that. And then I think Member Appreciation Week has also been announced in the app or the email as well, and we could probably expect to see those 2 member candle drop candles to drop during that week, I would assume. So looking forward to that and the villain stuff. So quite a bit of exciting newness. I feel like this fall has just progressed so quickly, and it's just weird because it's still so incredibly hot out. Like feels like 107 or whatever. So I'm just like, cinnamon pine cone when it's 107 degrees or feels like is just like so not the jam, but it is what it is. Okay, cool, awesome. Thanks so much. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.